Hello, welcome to my world. Today we're talking about something very, very exciting because I felt like talking about how to 10x your quality of life, the money you make, the clients you attract, the fun you have, the time you have, everything. How can you maximize your potential? How can you create amazing things in your life? How can you improve your relationships? How can you feel so much more in tune with your body, with your soul? How can you love yourself that much more? How can you feel amazing in your own skin, in your body? How can you treat yourself extremely well? How can you show up as the most authentic version of yourself? How can you be the version of you you're proud of? How can you create the legacy that you know you can create? That is what we're talking about today. And hello, whoever is joining. Say hi as you jump on. This conversation we're having today is inspired by my own personal growth journey that began back in 2018. So it's been 6 years now. And I was reflecting on how many things have changed and how many times I have let go of patterns, habits, people, relationships, clients, ways of operating, ways of functioning, ways of reacting. How many times I have up-leveled the game and how many people I have helped to do the same. And this journey is so unbelievably amazing because it really opens so many doors in your life where you realize that it's not about the money, it's not about the end result, it's not about the things you think you want, you think you desire, you think you need, you think you should be working on. But what it comes down to is who you are becoming, who you are being at any given moment. How present are you in your daily life? What kind of memories you are creating right now? Are you immersing yourself in the present moment? Whatever it is that you're doing, whether that's watching this live video, whether that's washing dishes, whether that's going for a walk, whether that's cleaning up after your pets, it doesn't matter. How present are you within yourself, in your own body, in your own soul? And that determines whether or not you really squeeze the most out of your life. Because that's what life is all about. Yesterday I had a lovely conversation with my dear friends, and we were talking about how often we fall into this trap of thinking that purpose is outside of us. Purpose is to make a living or to make money, or you want to have a meaningful career, you want to have a meaningful, purposeful business, which is a great thing to focus on. Absolutely. That's what I do for a living myself. But here's the thing. You being alive is already your purpose. You being present, you enjoying as much as possible is already your purpose. The meaning of your life is making the most out of it. And that is precisely why I have chosen this lifestyle where I wanted to surround myself with soulful, deep human beings who really care about the world. I chose this lifestyle of surrendering to life and saying yes whenever there is something that's being presented to me. I have chosen this lifestyle of really caring about my own well-being and not succumbing to what is really expected of me from my family, from my friends, from my old friends, from society. Especially as a woman of now 34 years old, so many people would say that, I should have been married by now, I should be in a long-term relationship, I should have had kids by now, and so on and so forth. But really, I wanted to follow my soul's journey. And I see so many individuals on this planet, they're looking for reasons to be happy, and they're looking for reasons to be purposeful, and they're looking for reasons to make money in all the wrong places. Purpose and money and joy and happiness all live within you. Everything is already available to you. The feeling of abundance, the feeling of freedom, the feeling of harmony, the feeling of peace, the feeling of fulfillment, all of these feelings already live inside of you. Everything else is just a cherry on top. So that is exactly what we're talking about today. How to create more and better. How to be more and better. How to do more and better. How to receive more and better. That is what we're talking about. And so when we're talking about 10 times better, I want you to imagine your life. What if your relationships were 10 times better? How would you feel in your relationships? Who would you be in those relationships? How would your relationship dynamics be? How would your energy level be? How would you interact with the people that you love? Who would you surround yourself with? Who would you be hanging out? Who would you be spending your weekends with? Who would you spend your holidays with? Who would you go for dinner? What kind of conversations you would be having? What would you be talking about? When you think about 10 times higher quality of your life, of your lifestyle, what does that mean? Where would you live? How would you live? How would you treat your body? What would you eat? How would you spend your time? Would you have hobbies? Would you spend time on those hobbies? Would you spend time on your business, on your work, on your craft, on your art? Would you spend quality time with people that you love? Would you go and explore the world? What would you do if your life was 10 times better? If you had 10 times more energy, if you had 10 times more ideas and opportunities, if you had 10 times more commitment, if you were 10 times more devoted to your life, to surrendering to your life, how would you live? Who would you be? Who would you be? When you think about who would you be, you have to think about, am I being the person that I want to become right now? And if not, how can you close that gap? How can you collapse the time? How can you feel like, yeah, I can be that person right now. I can be that version of myself right now. I can be more confident. I can be more loving. I can be kinder. I can be more ambitious. I can be more excited. I can be more visible. I can listen better. I can improve my skills. I can be that person now. So often we hold ourselves back from really living that life, being that version of ourselves, simply because we create stories as if we're not there yet. I'm not good enough yet. I need to improve my skills. I'm not confident yet. I feel like an imposter. Other people are doing way better than me. Other people are way ahead of me. Your classmates from high school, from university, are way ahead of you. You need to clean all of that energy that doesn't belong to you. You need to clean everything that is not really who you truly are. You have to clean all of the energy that belongs to society, to your family, to old friend circles. You need to become so sovereign and so deeply aligned with your soul that suddenly you start collapsing that gap, because you realize that nothing is really missing. Nothing is missing. Nothing is wrong. It doesn't mean that you're perfect, but it means that you're exactly where you're meant to be. It means that where you are today is exactly what needed to happen for you to catapult to the next level. Where you are today, objectively, is exactly what is meant for you, because you have lessons to learn, you have ideas to implement, you have strategies to execute, you have stuff on your plate that is so exciting, because there are dreams that you have that live inside of you. You'll have a vision, you have a mission. And because you have a vision and a mission, you know that there is so much more for you to create. So you don't have to be perfect in any way. You don't have to feel like you're good enough for it. No, it's a process. It's a journey. It's a path of experiencing life, of constantly improving. It's a process of iteration. It's a process of improving and tweaking the things that you notice you could do better. Like I said, 6 years ago, my journey began. And that was when I hired my very first coach. I cannot even comprehend, and I can't even explain to you what a different person I used to be. Back then, I couldn't sit still. Back then, I was this super bubbly person, and I always felt like I needed to be that version of me, to be liked, to be accepted, to be loved. I always needed to be pumped with energy. I felt like I needed to earn my attention, earn love. I felt like I needed to earn people to pay attention to me. I felt like I needed to be louder, brighter. And then over time, I started realizing that once I started giving myself that, once I started giving myself permission to be enough, even if I'm not so bubbly, then it will feel amazing to just be completely peaceful, be completely in harmony, be completely fine with where I am in my life. So, when you think about all of this, when you think about who would you be if your life was 10 times better, who would you be? How would you behave? What kind of habits you would no longer have? What kind of distractions you would no longer tolerate? What kind of behaviors of other people you would no longer accept? This is a big one. I remember back in the corporate world, there was a situation. It's 11:11 in Brazil right now. Back in the corporate, in the last job that I had back in, now I think it was back in 2017 or something like that. And it was my second week in this new job. And I don't have even a clue what I did or didn't do, but this colleague of mine, who wasn't even my boss, but he was in my team and kind of responsible for certain things, he started shouting at me on a Monday morning, first thing in the morning, while everyone was entering the office, in an open office. And you know what? I didn't do anything about it. I was completely crushed, but I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't stop him. I didn't interrupt. I was just listening, and I was completely crushed. After that situation, I realized that the only reason why someone would behave like this is because they were carrying so much pain within them. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as I realized that he is a hurt boy who carries a lot of pain, and I happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he was lashing out on me. And from then on, when I realized that, which by the way happened years later, when I started working with a coach, I was like, I will never, ever, ever, ever let anyone speak to me like this. It's never going to happen. And every time when people try and disrespect me, speak down to me, there are haters out there. And on LinkedIn, for example, I have received a few messages. Even last week, I received some comments on my posts which were not the best. And you know what? It doesn't touch me anymore. I just move on. But that version of me, the new version of me, wasn't always the case. I wasn't always this way. I wasn't always so strong. So, what would you stop tolerating? What would you stop doing? What would you stop avoiding? What would you stop allowing? What kind of business decisions would you start making? What kind of life decisions would you start making? Does it mean that you would walk away from some friendships because they're rather toxic and those people are negative and they have a negative effect on you? Does it mean you would end your long-term romantic relationship? Does it mean that you would stop smoking? Or, I don't know, binge watching TV? What would you be doing? What would you be doing? What do you know you must, absolutely, must change? What is your intuition telling you that needs to happen? What needs to happen? Does it mean that you need to show up more? Does it mean that you have to become more comfortable to be visible? Does it mean that you need to start sharing more openly? Does it mean that you need to become more comfortable being vulnerable in front of other people? Does it mean that you need to change your focus and change who you want to work with and basically fire some of your clients you maybe don't enjoy working with anymore? Does it mean that you need to move countries? Does it mean that you need to completely change the way you approach your business because it makes you feel like it's sucking your soul out of you? Does it mean that you need to work with a different coach or hire a coach to begin with? What does it mean? What does it mean for you? What needs to change in your life, in the way you approach your life, in the way you approach your business, that is becoming crystal clear for you when you evaluate whether or not you are being the version of you who lives 10 times better, who has 10 times more, who improves the quality of your life 10 times. What does it mean? So, when you think about all of this, what is your biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge in this very moment that is holding you back? What's the bottleneck? Now, here's the thing. So many people are wasting their time on things that do not move the needle. So many people are doing all the things on their to-dos which are not really that important. Are you one of them? The question is, why are you avoiding what needs to actually happen? Why are you avoiding to really face your challenge? Instead of facing your challenge, you're numbing yourself, you're distracting yourself, you're pretending to be doing the things that move the needle, but actually deep down you know that it's not the right thing. So, what needs to change? How can you approach it differently? But even more importantly, what is underneath those fears and doubts and insecurities? What is underneath this discomfort of doing the thing that you know you need to do? What is it that makes you feel unsafe about that action? That you will be seen? Does it mean that you will be laughed at? Does it mean that you will be embarrassed? Does it feel that you can't make mistakes? Does it feel that you have to be perfect and you don't know how to be perfect? You don't feel ready yet? Does it feel like, I don't know, does it feel like nobody is going to listen to you? What does it mean? Why is it unsafe for you to do that thing that is the bottleneck? Why is it unsafe? Or do you feel unworthy of doing it? Because once you actually do it, you realize that you will succeed and you will have results and it will move the needle, but you feel like you're not worthy of it. You're not worthy of that success. You're not worthy of that attention. You are not worthy of that love. You're not worthy of being chosen and prioritized and being, I don't know, bought from, for example. What does it mean? Does it mean that you feel you haven't earned it yet? Does it feel like you don't deserve it because you didn't work hard enough yet? Does it feel like, again, there are so many other people who know better than you, who are doing a better job, who are showing up more powerfully, more confidently? What does it mean? Does it mean that you're just not good enough? You're just not good enough. And when are you going to be good enough? Can you reframe it and ask yourself, well, what if just the fact that I'm putting in the effort and doing it and I'm taking the uncomfortable action, it already means that I am good enough? Does it mean that if I'm learning and doing what it takes and moving the needle every single day, even if just a tiny bit, even if just 1% at a time, does it mean that you are good enough because you keep on improving, you keep on moving, you keep on improving, you keep on tweaking, you keep on iterating? Can you give yourself permission to be good enough, to be worthy, to be deserving, to have already earned it like this? And do you think you're ready for it yet? Do you feel like you are ready to receive 10 times more, 10 times better? Do you feel like you deserve to receive 10 times more and 10 times better? Or do you feel like, I'm not there yet. I haven't done enough. I haven't worked hard enough. I'm too new to this. I just started my journey. You're just creating reasons why not to live your best life right now. You're just artificially manufacturing reasons why not to be that yet, why not to have it yet. It's not about you not being there yet. It's not about you not being worthy yet. You were born worthy. You were born deserving. You were born ready. You were born ready to have it all. So what is holding you back? Are you afraid to be successful? Does it mean that you will have to really step up and be the leader and lead by example and show up and be visible and be vulnerable and share your stories and no longer hide, no longer be a hermit? Is that what it means? Are you afraid of success? Or do you feel like that comes with a lot of responsibility and it's more comfortable to sit back, relax, and not really do much, and then blame yourself and circumstances that it's just not working? The strategy is wrong. The coach was teaching something that wasn't really helping you. The coaching sessions weren't as deep or profound as you expected them to be. They didn't give you the perfect answer. So many individuals, so many people in the business world are blaming the coaches, their marketers, the teachers, the educators who are teaching the wrong strategy, and it's not working. It's just not working. I did it. I used it. I implemented it. It didn't work. Why do you think strategies don't work? It's because you were not ready for it yet. You didn't decide that this is it. I'm doing it no matter what. It's not about the strategy. You haven't made a firm decision that this is what I'm about to do. There's no way back anymore. I'm being that person no matter what. You're drawing line in the sand and claiming your side of the industry, like I spoke in one of the lives. You are becoming the empowered version of you, and you no longer allow any strategies to hold you back, because it's not about the strategy, it's about you. That's another live that I shared on Instagram. You become your own brand because you are no longer waiting for anything externally to make a difference in your life. It's not about this business that you do outside of yourself, as if it's like, I will just do a few things and I will make a living and I'll be happy. No, you live your life. Your business is you. Your brand is you. So you no longer let that hold you back. That's another live that I shared here on Instagram lately. That's what happens when you tap into the energy of 10 times more and 10 times better. And yes, it does come with discomfort. It does come with letting go. A lot of letting go, a lot of detachment, a lot of uncomfortable conversations with people who maybe don't agree with you. Maybe they don't understand you. Maybe they don't know what's actually happening. They start feeling insecure because they realize that you're fading away. They realize that you're changing. They realize that your values are changing. And that is scary to them. So it triggers a lot of insecurities in other people when you start growing. There's this really awesome short video of Snoop Dogg where he's talking about homies. That when you start growing, Homies stay the same unless they also start growing too. But because you start growing and your homies stay the same, whether that's family members, I don't know, friends, business partners, whoever, neighbors, anyone, if they don't grow, then that gap is just growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And it becomes harder and harder for you to find something to relate on. It's harder and harder for you to have meaningful conversations, to feel like you really understand each other. So detachment and letting go are absolutely key in this journey. And it's not something to be afraid of. It's not something to feel like, but I don't want to break up. I don't want to end this relationship. I don't want to end this friendship. I don't want to end this habit. I'm so attached to it. It makes me feel like me. It makes me feel like home. But really, in my experience, when you really start learning how to move on with grace, move on with love, move on with respect to yourself and other people, move on with really explaining also where you're coming from and what it means to you, then more often than not, people who are experiencing this with you, they are also inspired because they understand why this is happening and where you're going, and it inspires them to do something about it too. It inspires them to jump on that train as well. And so often those friendships actually become even stronger. And if they don't, then it's not meant to last. So again, when you learn doing it in this beautiful, graceful way, then detachment and letting go and really ego death is not a painful experience anymore. It's something that you start embracing, and you start experiencing shedding skins and shedding layers of your life as a part of your evolution. It's a part of your soul's growth. It's a part of becoming who you are meant to be. It's a part of remembrance. It's a part of returning back home. And bit by bit by bit, your life becomes 10 times better. And you receive 10 times more. 10 times more grace, 10 times more love, 10 times more freedom, 10 times more joy. You become so much more in tune with life because you start realizing that every single experience that you are experiencing in your life is a catalyst for something greater. Every single thing has a meaning. Not always. Some experiences, they don't necessarily have a meaning. And we humans tend to put any meaning on anything. But really, what happens is that you start becoming more excited about change than about stagnation. You become more excited about growth than about staying where you are, where you no longer belong. You start being more excited about facing your fears than holding yourself back because of those fears. You start becoming more excited about transmuting your doubts and insecurities and really truly facing them instead of holding yourself back because of them. You start becoming more attentive to your inner world, to your inner thoughts, your beliefs, your self-talk, your whatever narratives and stories are going on inside your mind. And it just reminded me of this. Did you know that there is this phenomenon of people who don't think? How is that possible? There are people on this planet who don't freaking think. If you have heard of this or not, if you haven't, definitely check it out and there are videos on YouTube also where they're basically explaining how they function and operate. That when they read, they don't hear the voice. It's just they read and they kind of forget what they just read a few sentences ago. And if they wash dishes, if they take a shower, if they go for a walk, they don't think. There's no thinking involved. Like, what? I mean, I wish that was the case in my case, but I guess I'm talking to those individuals who actually do have self-talk and they do have the voices in their heads. And so when you learn how to navigate your own inner voices, when you learn how to direct those voices in the right way, instead of listening to the voices blindly, to the ones which basically were installed in your subconscious mind by your mom, your dad, your friends, your siblings, your teachers, your grandparents, society, TV, media, marketing, newspapers, magazines, social media. Instead of listening to those, I wonder where it's coming from. Probably I should actually think for myself, and I should learn how to think critically. Okay, we're back. There was a little glitch in my Wi-Fi, I guess. Hi, Caroline. So powerful. Thank you. Oh, that's wonderful. Hey, Toby. God damn, you articulate this message so well. I'm so happy to hear that. So, you need to be thinking critically for yourself. And you need to learn how to not just navigate and direct your thoughts, but how to choose your path, your direction, who you want to be, and more than anything, choose who you are being. Meaning, what is your identity? How would you describe who you want to be? Is it someone who is articulate? Is it someone who is great at public speaking? Is it someone who doesn't have going life? Is it someone who is kind and giving and they really want to make a difference? They really want people to be happy. They really want to build relationships based on true care and deep love and unconditional acceptance and friendship that's very, very deep. Do you want to be someone who is just an inspiration to others, not because of the things you do necessarily, but how you live your life? Not because you show yourself a certain way, but because this is who you are. If somebody would hang out with you for a month, 2, or a year, every single day, they would be like, oh, you're exactly the same as I thought you were when I saw you online. Is that who you want to be? You need to decide what's the identity that you live in. Where do you anchor yourself in? Do you anchor yourself as someone who is like playing life, playing business, doing the bare minimum? And I'm saying this because I've been there myself, where I was like, you know what, whatever, I just want to live my life. I just want to, have fun. I just want to travel the world and do cool things. And I want to hang out with awesome people and, exercise and go spend time in nature. But really, I didn't take it seriously. And I didn't anchor myself into who do I truly want to be? Not with all the distractions, but who do I truly want to be? How do I want to contribute to the world? How do I want to remember myself when I'm old? How do I want to look back when I'm 90 and be like, I did the most out of life. I loved well, I played well, I worked well, I made a huge difference, I made an impact, I lived really, really well, I loved myself, I learned how to be with myself with love and acceptance and compassion. I learned how to no longer judge myself and other people because I understand where they're coming from, no matter their stories, no matter where they come from, no matter what they have done in the past. It doesn't define them. When I look back, I want to see myself as someone who really lived truly, instead of like tiptoeing through life and like being risk averse and like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I shouldn't do that. I'm saying this again because I have lived that, and I lived that because of my family. Because something is happening with my Wi-Fi. So the story that I just shared about my dad is an invitation for you to investigate, where are you giving your power away? Is it to the economy? Is it to the war, potentially? Is it to your spouse? Is it to the strategy that you're applying in your business? Is it to the circumstances in your life? Is it that you were born into maybe lack of support? Maybe you were born into, I don't know, not being loved the way you wish you were? What are the stories that you tell yourself that make you feel like you can't own your power? And when you notice them, when you identify them, bring them back. Bring them back. All of those stories, everything that you have experienced in your life, they happened for you so that those pieces of your soul that traveled somewhere, you can now pull it back and return back home and be like, no, I am whole. I am loved. I am enough. I am ready. I am amazing. I have a lot to offer. I am here to help people. I am here to create amazing things. I am here to promote myself. I'm here to sell my services. I'm here to have amazing relationships. I'm here to help other people to have amazing relationships with themselves and with others, and with money, and with business, and with environment, and with government, and with economics. You have relationships with absolutely anything. So where are you letting those circumstances and the other party of that relationship to affect the way you feel about yourself and about your life and what is possible for you? You are the one who can decide and who defines really how your life unfolds. No one else. So like in my dad's case, he's the victim in that scenario. It's like everybody else is bad. Those are the bad guys, and I'm poor guy, can't help but just be in these terrible circumstances. And it's like, wait a second. No. I'm the one deciding. Okay, shit hits the fan. What do I do then? Will I allow it to affect me? Or will I feel powerful in my own skin, in my own being, because that's who I am, and I will keep on going until it freaking works? That's what it means to be a very, very powerful leader, to lead by example, where you keep on returning back and returning back and returning back to your power, to your alignment, no matter what, where you're no longer allowing anything to shake you. It doesn't mean that you're cold as fuck, like some people say, like you're a cold bitch. You're a cold bitch, you have no emotions whatsoever. No, I just know what's worthy of my attention, of what's worthy of my energy, of what's worthy of my time. And I choose where I invest my energy and time. It's not always easy. It's not always effortless. But it's a journey. It's commitment. It's devotion to keep on returning back and back and back and back. That's what it's all about. That's what successful businesses are all about. Those people actually owned it, owned their power, owned their craft, owned their art, owned their genius. And they were like, I'm not going to let the world decide how my life unfolds or how my business goes. I'm going to make it freaking happen, no matter what, as long as it takes. And sometimes it takes longer, and that's fine. Are you committed enough? Is your devotion that strong to not freaking give up on every single bump? Because there will be bumps. It's a matter of how quickly can you stand up? How quickly can you move on? How quickly can you transmute all of these failures or challenges or obstacles or bumps? The faster you move on, the faster you stand up and keep going, the faster you get 10 times more and 10 times better. But again, because you feel worthy, because you're open with your receivership, because you know you deserve it, because you know that there's nothing to be earned anymore. You are exactly where you're meant to be. You're doing exactly what you're meant to do. And yes, sometimes you might need some more clarity of like, so how do I really want to work with my clients? What exactly do I want to do? What do I want to create? How do I want to contribute to a better world? That's okay too. How do you use that to your benefit is you keep on taking action. You keep on showing up anyway. You keep on creating. You sit down and you do whatever comes through you. And then you're like, okay, this is something that resonates with me still. How can I go deeper? How can I tweak more? How can I add more color, add more spice? How can I add more of me inside of this? Do I see any gaps? Do I see any space for me to expand within that topic, within that field, within that area? Clarity comes through action. Clarity comes through you doing it and doing it and doing it and repeating and repeating and practicing and practicing and practicing and speaking your truth and being honest with yourself and being transparent and being yourself no matter what, even if it's uncomfortable at times, even if you might be judged. Clarity, success, amazing things like abundance, prosperity, they all come from you becoming more of yourself, more and more and more of yourself, returning back home over and over and over again. But you will not be able to return back home if you don't decide that you want to be home and that this is the most important thing for you in life. You want to be you. You want to feel amazing. And that's what an aligned business is all about. It's not just about making money. It's not just about helping people kind of randomly. It's not just, I will make my ends meet, or I will make money in order to build a house or to buy a house or to buy a car or to wear fancy clothes. It's not about that. It's about you becoming who you're meant to be and owning it, being fully yourself and owning it to such a degree that you want to promote yourself, you want to be seen, you want to be noticed. And why you want to be noticed is because what you're creating is excellent, it's amazing, it's beautiful, It's powerful. It's helpful. It's supportive. It makes the world a better place. So you can't stop talking about it. It's like, gosh, like if I wouldn't go live and talk to you guys here, Phil, good to see you. If I wouldn't go live and talk to you guys, I wouldn't feel like I'm maximizing my potential. I wouldn't feel great about myself. Why? Because I have so much to say. I know that there's so much I can give. I know I'm meant to help. I'm meant to support. I'm meant to guide. I'm meant to lead. I'm meant to inspire. I'm meant to help people find their power inside of themselves and be like, oh my God, I can do this too. I can do this too. So what is it that you're not doing? Where are you not showing up? Where are you feeling like, I don't like marketing. I don't like sales. I don't like promoting myself. It feels too sleazy. I don't want to be salesy. It's not about that. You will never be too salesy. You will never be promoting yourself too much if you have an actual purpose and meaning behind what you do. If you're being yourself fully, there is nothing like it's too much. There is no too much. Do you feel like you're too much? Do you feel like I'm too much? It's not that. When you're genuine and authentic and raw and real, there's nothing too much. You're just being yourself. And if you feel like you're being too much, then probably it comes from somewhere else. Maybe you were canceled when you were a child and you were silenced when you were, I don't know, too loud, too much, too big, asking for too much attention. If that's the case, again, it's an opportunity for you to address that and feel like, you know what? Actually, I want to be myself and I want to be too much because that's who I am. So that is what I wanted to share with you. This is not just 10 times more and 10 times better. It's infinite amount of more and better. Because what it's all about, it's about you being yourself. You owning who you are. You becoming your brand. You owning your genius. You feeling amazing in your own skin. You falling in love with your work. You falling in love with showing up. You falling in love with who you're being, what you're creating, and how you're promoting it. That's what it's all about. So, that's it for today. I hope this made sense. If there is anything that you would like to share with me, feel free to reach out, send me a message, and see you in the next live. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Ciao, ciao.